Okay, this is Hideous C doing a replay analysis for Irelia top. The elo is silver 1. So it's going to be Irelia top into Gnar. Okay, so first thing to be aware of is just in general, sitting in Fountain like this is bad for a number of reasons. And I realized you were probably, getting a drink or doing something while the game loaded or whatever. But you got to be careful about it because you can potentially give up a lot of just lane advantages by sitting in Fountain like this. If you were wanting to position aggressively here, it's too late because Gnar has already got his presence in lane. If you're wanting to get a deep ward in, it's kind of too late because you won't be able to do it by the time minions get back. So be careful about this, plus the fact that even something as simple as that can put your team on tilt a little bit. Right now your team is already freaking out because Malphite doesn't connect or isn't looking like he's connecting. And so, you got to be a little careful just even from that perspective, from a team psychology perspective. Okay. Be a little careful about the amount of time you put into a leash too, just so you don't end up getting behind in lane. You're okay here, but Gnar has already had a chance to shove the lane ahead, so he's going to hit level 2 before you pretty easily. Since Gnar is ranged, it's a little tricky. You might want to let him have some early pressure anyway. But if you're late to lane, then you just give him a lot of free pressure. So usually on Irelia, you want to go or E first is often, or E first. Equilibrium Strike is often a good first ability. But Blade Surge is good versus somebody like Gnar who has ranged. It allows you to more easily farm like you're doing. Use Blade Surge to farm. It makes your movements less predictable. It's harder for him to harass you. So the thing you're thinking with Gnar right now is that Gnar being ranged, Gnar is going to win the early lane if he's smart at all, just because he has the ability to harass you from range, and so you are focusing almost exclusively on farming. If you see an opportunity to dash to a minion, especially once you get your stun, and right now you have lower health than him, so if you saw an opportunity to dash and stun like that, get an auto attack, but then just back off. Just immediately back off before he has much of a chance to respond. He's already going to be able to do a lot of damage to you because he can hit you while you're walking away. So go up to him, stun him, maybe hit him one time, but then just immediately back off, because if you let him start, if you hit him until the stun wears off, he's going to start being able to hit you immediately. He's going to hit you once or twice more while you back away. So don't give him that free damage basically. But in general, your early lane phase is you started sustain, so that's good. Is just to survive and farm. You're not looking to win big trades or try to get kills. That's going to come later once you start getting your items. So you're focusing on doing your best to out farm him. And then capitalizing on when he overextends or makes mistakes like that. Yeah, so this is a good time to. This is actually a really good time to recall, both because, well, just because of the lane position. If you can quickly buy your items and teleport back, yep, good. That's good, perfect. You set the lane up so that he wouldn't be able to get there, and now he has to leave, and you're in a perfect position to just freeze the lane right here and farm to your heart's content. You don't really need to ward right now, because you're not planning on pushing, ideally. Good. Smart decision there. And you're going Phage, which is also good. Once you have Phage, you should be able to start trading with him, depending on what he's building. Or trading aggressively with him, I mean. He went Bomby. So yeah, Bomby Cinder is not, in and of itself, going to do anything to really deter you, unless you really mess up. Good. That's exactly what you want to be doing. Now that you have your ult, you know, wait till your abilities are come back off of cooldown, and then just do that over and over and over and over again. Because he doesn't have nearly enough sustain to put up with that for any length of time. Yeah, good. In and out though. In and out though. Again, you kind of gave him some free harass there because you tried to get a third auto attack in while he was just backing off. So get in there, hit him with your Equilibrium Strike to get the slow. You know, maybe get one more auto attack in, and then just call that good. That's you know, plan your trade ahead of time. You're going to go in, hit Equilibrium Strike, auto attack him one time, and unless he makes a mistake, you're just going to immediately back off. This is also just a thing to recognize with Gnar. If he is close to his Gnar bar being full, you just back off. He will win that every single time versus almost any matchup until you are gigantically bigger than he is. Nice, throwing that over there. That's good. If his Gnar bar is full, just back off. Give him the space. Let it go off a cooldown. Give him the CS if you need to. He has too many ways to close with you. I mean, obviously he didn't kill you there, but he did burn your flash, which sucks. So that's just a general Gnar thing. Okay, so you're actually doing really good right now as far as keeping up in farm versus someone who is ranged. You pinging the MIA, that's good. So now that you see him, or as soon as you see him, actually you know he left because you have your ward there. So this is a time when you want to be just shoving. Just shove, 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 shove to punish this, because he's roaming, and you want to maximize what he is losing when he roams like this. So because you're kind of pseudo-freezing here, let's just look at this for a second. There is no scenario in which this freeze works, because you have more minions than he does left here. And so even if you're stopping to last hit, all that's going to do is you're slow pushing. You can't freeze, you're slow pushing. And right now you don't want to slow push, because he's gone. You want to blow these things up. Even just use your ult. Just clear the wave, blow it away, and get it to this turret so that if he wants to roam mid, he kind of picked a terrible time to roam because Azir was shoving toward Cho'Gath's turret, so he wasn't likely going to get anything. But regardless of whether he's going to get anything or not, you want to maximize the cost of his roam. So he's going to roam, and right now, as you're pushing, you're probably not going to make. It's not going to cost him very much at all. He's going to lose 1 or 2 minions. Maybe to, you know, just attrition from his own minion damage, so, you know, whatever his minions kill. But that's not nearly as much as it would cost if you had shoved it to turret, and the turret was eating up his CS. So this is an opportunity where if he does that, you can take a lot of advantage right back, or force him to use his teleport. That's also an excellent trade. Just for shoving it, you get some CS, and he has to burn his teleport to keep you from getting a massive CS advantage. Okay. So yeah, just use your abilities, just shove it. Yeah, because right now when he comes back to lane, he has the opportunity now to set up a perfect freeze on his side, because he can thin the herd a bit. He's ranged, so he's going to have a much easier time freezing. So you've kind of actually set the lane up really nicely for him at this point. Because if he's smart, he'll kill 1 or 2 of these and then just let it sit here. Okay, looks like he's not doing that, but he sure could. And that's something that a smart player will definitely look to maximize on those kinds of mistakes. And now you're thinking Narbar, not even going there. Yeah, it's nice. Now he just had to overextend to get to you, so that was good. Blows his ult. Nice. Nice. Perfect. Good. That was really well played by you, positioning-wise. Nice. Okay, yeah, now leave. Nicely done. Nice. Good. Okay, make sure you're timing all of those abilities in chat. I can't see your chat, so I can't tell if you are. Make sure you're typing in chat that Gnar just used his TP, because now you have TP advantage and you want to know for how long you have TP advantage. At about 10-11 minutes is when Dragon starts becoming contested, and so that's perfect. You forced him to burn his teleport, and you burn it on a minion no less, so it's an even longer cooldown. So now, you have teleport and he doesn't. So that's a decision you make. He did shove it, and so you would lose CS if you didn't teleport back to lane. So you kind of got to decide there, is having a TP advantage when Dragon is going to be contested worth losing, 5 or 6 CS? You can kind of look at it. You were already a few CS ahead. You're starting to get to a point where you can really start to abuse him. So, in my opinion, that would have been worth just walking up to lane. Yeah, you're going to lose some CS. Yeah, he'll do a little damage to the turret. But you'll be able to get there up in time, and it will be more valuable for you to have teleport up when a dragon fight goes down. For when Udyr roams bot, he's going to get red and probably try to gank bot. For you to have teleport up and be able to get down here for that gank, and then do dragon with your team while Gnar is stuck up in the top lane because he used his teleport to get back to lane. But now, if your team tries to do that, neither of you will be able to get down, which is better than him being able to get down there and not you. But you can look to be teleporting in for kills, for an objective, and in general, that's going to be the better move. So Udyr's going for this, and Cho'Gath's going for this. So yeah, right now this would be the time when you could be teleporting right to this ward, keeping Azir from joining the fight. This wasn't a great time for them to do that. The bot lane wasn't really in position. So, your team should have and could have set this up better, absolutely. But if you had been able to jump into the fray there with teleport, you are, item-wise and level-wise, you are very strong right now relative to their team. So there's a very real scenario in which you teleporting in there stalls and delays and brings enough damage to your team. No! What was that? That actually goes completely the other way. So, I mean, that's the trade I'm talking about. You're looking at it, yeah, I'll lose a wave if I walk up to lane. But because you chose to teleport, you picked up 5 or 6 CS that you might have missed, but your team lost a team fight and dragon that you very well could have won if you'd had teleport. So that would be a worthy trade, to lose 1 or even 2 waves of CS. Because if you win that team fight, you pick up kills and you pick up assists and you pick up dragon. And the only reason that you're wanting to have farm, or to make sure that you're not missing farm, is because that farm is worth gold and it's worth experience. It's the most reliable source of gold and experience. But if you can trade it for another source of reliable gold and experience, like a team fight like that, that's always better. 2 waves of CS is worth about 100 gold. Or a wave of CS is worth about 100 gold, I mean. And so, if you miss 2 waves, you maybe miss out on 200 gold. But if you go down here, all you have to get is 2 assists in a team fight like that to have already made that up completely. 1 kill makes that up, more than makes that up completely. So yeah, it's just important to remember that a high CS count is good, but only because of what it gets you. And so if you can make a worthy trade, giving up some CS for a even better source of gold and resources, then that's fine. And this is, oh, your ult is down, never mind. Okay, now, yep, just farm this wave up. Okay, overall you're playing this pretty well. I'm going to kind of buzz through this a little bit. Yeah, you're seeing that. Be careful, because you don't have enough vision or people in range to really contest this. Yeah, good. That's fine. This is fine. You've got 3 top, so that means that bot lane knows that they're alone without being in danger of getting aggressed on by a jungler or somebody. They're kind of wasting their time here because there's nothing for them to get. Azir is missing out on lane pressure and farm. So this is fine. You can't really punish this mistake super hard, but they're giving up a lot of pressure, and in a few seconds you'll be able to punish it because Cho'Gath was shoving. Azir has to go back. And so now, you know, now you guys can punish a little bit. Okay, so at this point in the game, you are very close to finishing your Triforce. And as soon as you hit that Triforce mark, you want to start looking for opportunities to go raffle stomp people. And so you don't want to be sitting in lane any more than you have to be to make sure that you're not just giving a free lane to Gnar. You want to be looking to, because your mid-game spike is crazy on Irelia. And if you can snowball it, it continues right into a major late-game power spike as well. So as soon as you hit that Triforce mark, you are looking to have teleport up, to be able to jump into fights whenever possible. And even if you have to walk down to them if teleport's not up. Like, you can come down there and you could probably win this fight easily by coming in, you know, right now. You can probably kill Gnar whenever you want, as long as his Mega Gnar isn't up. Yeah, exactly. So you damage him enough to get his Mega Gnar up, and then you back off and let it wear down. And then you just go aggressive and kill him, or force him out of lane. He can really do nothing to you right now. Alternatively, you look to shove the lane, and then you recall and go bot, or roam down here, and look to impact the map as much as you can. I don't know if you were Spidey sensing him coming up or what, but that was good for you not to just go balls out aggressive when you don't know where Azir is. You know, because this has all happening down here, and Azir's not here, so it's very likely that he's up here, because if he's not down here on this interesting thing happening on the map, he might be taking his blue, or he might be back at base, but there's also a very good chance that he's up here looking to do something to you. So that was smart for you to be wary of going in too hard. Okay. I'll speed up here a little bit again. Okay, so right now, again, you're moving into mid-game here. You know, about 15, 16, 17 minutes or so is usually when mid-game kind of hits. There's not really a specific time, but all 3 mid turrets are down. The teams are starting to roam around. So the lanes are being abandoned in favor of map pressure. So you got to assess the situation. Right now, all 3 of your outer turrets are down. None of their outer turrets are down. They picked up first dragon. Dragon is up right now. And kills, they're up 3 kills. So they have a 6,000 or 5,500 gold lead or so, not quite. You don't have access to the specifics, but you can pretty easily estimate, basically how much gold they're up, and they're up quite a bit at this point in the game. So right now, that needs to play into how you're going to play the next few steps of the game. You are positioned very well right now. You don't have any kills yet, but you're way ahead in farm of everyone else. The only people that you are not completely ahead of right now is, well, you're even with Nautilus, because he has a lot of assists, so he's got a lot of gold for that. You are even with Gnar, and again, you would be ahead of him except for the fact that they have turrets and global objectives. You are ahead of Maokai, which is normal because he's a jungler. So you are a little bit behind Azir. He has 5 kills, and a lot. Your CS makes up for some of that. And you are behind Sivir. So those are the 2 people that you are behind in terms of gold. Both of those people you can still destroy because Irelia's kit is just stronger in general. You got to be smart about it. You can't just force it. But there isn't anybody on this team that you don't have a. I had no idea you could move those around. That's crazy. I'm going to do that right now. There is nobody on this team that you cannot... Sorry, I'm distracted by how cool that is. There's nobody on this team that you cannot go up and bully and fight and have and that doesn't need to respect you. So you got to look at that and think, okay, so I'm the one that I have that kind of power. I'm on this team. As if I am on the map, they have to pay attention to me. They have to respect me because I'm Irelia and I have a really strong kit, and I have Triforce now, which is gigantic for your kit. You need to be thinking map wide now. You are level 12. You should have already upgraded your warding totem. Always, 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 always do this as soon as possible. Get this before this cloth armor. This is so much more valuable than cloth armor. Like a million times more powerful than cloth armor. The upgraded warding trinket is the single most powerful and gold efficient item in the game, or the most powerful item for the gold in the game. It is crazy how strong that item is, because it allows you now, as you are the strongest one on the map, it allows you to start establishing some map pressure back and to keep them from being able to just push in with their momentum without, you know, any sort of pushback. If you can get vision control up of the contested areas of the map, so you want to have vision control of this area, you want to have vision control of this area. The reason for that is because Dragon's going to go down here, so maybe not much you can do about this perhaps because your team is out of position to contest. So you're thinking this is going to go down. We don't have any turrets, and so they have momentum. So they're going to be pushing. They're going to be aggressing onto our side of the river, and so we need to have vision control of our side of the map as opposed to theirs. If you have momentum and you're ahead, you get vision of their side of the map. But since they're ahead, you get vision control of your side of the map. You get vision of the entrances to your jungle, the big traffic areas. Throw a ward right here, or right here at this push right on the corner. Throw a ward at this entrance. You know, hopefully your support and your mid laner and everybody else is helping ward too. You get a ward of the river, maybe of right here, just right in lane, so that you can have vision of where, you know, which direction they're going as they're coming down mid. But you try to establish control right now at this point in the game of this area of the map. The reason for that is Dragon's going to be down, so there's not an objective down here. So all the pressure for their team is going to shift up to this side. They're going to be looking to pressure mid and probably top side since Dragon is down. Baron is going to start becoming a thing. And so you want to have vision control of the side of the map where the next objective is likely to be contested. You could also err on you know, focusing your ward control on kind of the center area. So you get vision control of this ramp, of this bush maybe, and then, you know, the center lane itself, and then this entrance and maybe blue buff. So you kind of shift your ward control to kind of the center, you know, circle around the center, your side of the map, kind of this area right here. And then if this turret goes down, then there's not an objective on this side for them to worry about, and so you're going to shift that circle down to here. If Dragon is up, that's where they're going to be looking, so you shift the circle to kind of here. If Baron is up, then that's what they're going to be looking at, so you shift the circles to kind of up here. So you have Baron warded and the entrances warded. So, and you know, and ideally their main entrances to the Baron pit as well. So you can kind of see, you want to look at the hotspots on the map. What's happening next? Where there's the enemy team likely to be focusing the bulk of their efforts, and just carpet bomb that area of the map with wards. And that warding trinket helps you have a major direct impact on that. You want to try to have a pink ward down at all times, and you want to try to have your 3 wards on the map down at all times, as much as is possible. You know, you can remind your team gently and politely to be warding. Never ever rage at your team. Never ever accuse them of messing things up or of throwing. All that will do is put them on the defensive and make them play worse. It will never increase your chances of winning. Don't ever do it. If your team is not warding, type in chat, you know, let's keep up the warding, guys. Keep it a group thing. You're not pointing a finger at one specific person. You know, we need to keep the vision up so we can get picks. That sort of thing. Give them, you know, make it a group thing. You're pointing at a specific person, and you're giving them like a reason for doing it, you know, an incentive, so we can get picks, or so we can avoid getting caught out, or whatever the case is. You know, you can type that in, and if they're not responding, then basically just leave it. Just give up on it. You're not going to be able to bully people into doing what you want. All that will do is make them mad at you, put them on tilt potentially, and then they're more focused on typing and defending themselves or raging at you than they are in playing the game. And that's a great way to get people to throw games and to tilt and to lose games. it just will never get you what you want. So it might feel good to be angry at people. I don't know where you're at with that, with being getting frustrated, and so hopefully you're you're able to keep that under lockdown and not freak out. But just always resist the urge to do that, especially when it comes to things like, where you know what needs to be done in terms of vision control, and your team isn't doing it. You can try, but be polite and just leave it alone if they don't do it. You have a lot of direct control, even if your team is messing up. You can still impact and carry to victory if you are doing a good job of keeping your vision up. Okay, so anyway, you're looking at the map, you're trying to think of what's going to happen next. They are going to be pressuring likely down mid. That's what a lot of teams do, especially at low elo. Baron is not up, Dragon's going to be down, there's no outer turrets on either lane, so they're probably going to be saying to each other, we need to group and pressure mid. So you're going to want to get vision control of these areas, of this circle of the map, so that you can look to get picks as they are flanking in, or as they're invading your jungle, and so that you know if you go aggressive, you're not going to get jumped on by a full Gnar or Mega Gnar from the Fog of War off to the side or something. So that's a big way that you need to start transitioning, because yeah, you could stay in lane here and you could keep bullying Gnar. You could keep bullying Gnar. You want to get this turret down eventually, so that's that's something you want to do. But if Gnar is ever in lane, then you're unlikely to be able to go take the turret, with him there. And there's really not much more to be gained from you keeping your foot on Gnar's neck. You've already beat him. He's already, because of how his team is doing, he's already, even in spite of how he's doing, he's a little bit behind you. Oh, I messed this up. There we go. 54 to 55. Yeah, so you're ahead of him in spite of the fact that his team is way ahead. So it's diminishing returns for you to stay in this lane and keep bullying Gnar. It is much more important for you to start looking for opportunities around the map, to be grouping with your team and looking for skirmishes and picks, to be using that teleport when it's up, as often as it's up. You can even look at getting distortion boots or something like that to really maximize the amount of time that you are able to jump around the map and impact people and impact things. But you are no longer looking to lane. You are no longer looking to be laning against Gnar. You want to take this objective when it's free or when it's available, but you don't care about Gnar. You've already beat Gnar. You don't need to do that anymore. Now you need to go win the game. Now you need to go win the map and get kills on other people. You need to go start dealing with Sivir so that you can slow her roll down. Dealing with Zir for the same reason, you can slow his roll down. You right now are the best person on your team to start making a big impact. Udur's doing pretty good too. Actually, he's doing very good right now, so he's another person that can be doing that same sort of thing. So you are no longer looking for opportunities to beat Gnar. You've already done that. Now go look for opportunities to win the game, and to get the advantage back. So right now you do want to be pressuring this turret. Gnar left, or you don't know where he is anyway, and you can't get down to Dragon in time to do anything. So you're going to pressure this, take this turret. As soon as this turret goes down, leave, go mid. It's not useful for you to keep pushing this lane because you know that they're probably coming up to deal with you. So there's probably people heading your way. So if you just book it and just leave, then you have effectively wasted their time, or at least Azir's time. Gnar can come up and farm and push the wave or whatever. But you have wasted Azir's time by just leaving, because he's chosen to come all the way up here for no reason, because you're going to be gone. And now you can roam mid and pressure this turret. Your turret's down. You're not going to be able to get this one. Very, very unlikely unless they just leave. Or they just don't show up and they're all at Dragon. So if you know they're all at Dragon, then sure, keep going. But since you don't know that, you can't see them all at Dragon, and you can hit the scoreboard to bring the scoreboard up and look at who's in the Fog of War to see, because if they're here, then they'll be highlighted on the scoreboard, so you know that they're there, and you can see who's in the Fog of War still. In this case, it would be Azir, and then Gnar before he fully showed up. So you can check to see how many people are at this Dragon fight. 2 are not at that Dragon fight, so I'm not going to be able to get this turret. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go mid, and I'm going to pressure this objective. Always be looking to pressure objectives so that, you're punishing. You're punishing Azir for roaming up, and so he's not going to get anything out of that. You're punishing them for focusing on Dragon. You're going to get this turret, and you're going to roam mid and pressure this turret. Maybe even pick it up, depending on how this fight goes. You're always looking to make the enemy team pay, and making them pay by taking a wave is not making them pay at all. You want to make them pay in bigger ways than that, in map-wide ways, in tower ways, in objective ways. If you had your ult up, you might have been able to actually do something there. Azir does not have Hourglass or anything, and Gnar's bar was pretty low. You might have been able to obliterate Azir, or at least force him to burn Flash or his ult or something. you know, make him pay as much as possible. So since you did stay a little bit and he was able to room up and get you, that probably would have been an okay time to just go super aggressive on him. Because again, you have Triforce, you do a crap load of damage, and you're tanky and have a lot of sustain. Your ult wasn't up, so that maybe gives you pause. But you could at least force him to burn his ult to get, you know, to get you away from him. Good. Oh, but yeah, keep going though. Keep going though. Because you got to look at the map. You saw Udyr coming. He was chasing Azir. If you had kept going, you could have caught Azir out. Pushing the wave is important. Nice. Good. 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 That's perfect. Good. Abuse your power spike. Abuse the crap out of it. Be looking for more opportunities to abuse it. Kill him. Good. Good, you went aggressive and you backed out when it stopped being an advantageous situation. In that situation, this is a little thing, but you went aggressive on him. He's mega, you know he still has his ult, so you went aggressive on him. And as he is stunned, be microing yourself around to the side. You know, auto attack, move, so that by the time he comes out of the stun, you are over here on this side of him, so he can't knock you into this wall. And you're positioned to cut off his escape. He has to go this way, but that's not a good choice because Troygas is there. So don't just stay there and just auto attack. Be moving while you're auto attacking to position yourself better, because you're thinking ahead and you're knowing what's coming next. So you're going to position around to the side of him so he can't knock you into the wall. And that's probably a kill there, or an easier kill. So you would have killed him here or here, and then that gives you more position and more health to be able to push this lane. Okay, so now you've won the fight. So now you want to maximize that fight. You want to maximize the advantage you gained from winning that fight. So that means pushing a turret, which is what you're doing. That's good. You personally can't really do much here because you have to put yourself in a dangerous position because you're melee. So that sucks that that happened. If you guys had killed Gnar faster, then maybe you could have gotten that turret, or at least done a lot more damage to it. But it is a little tricky because they still have the momentum right now. Okay, switch targets there. So this is a little thing. But you're looking at this situation. I backed up a bit here, so they're pushing down. You're wanting to defend this turret. You're at about half health. You're in a good position. You're not in any real danger. So you're pressuring Nautilus here. That's excellent. That's good. He was the closest target. You're getting up on him. Good. But then Azir comes in. Immediately switch to here. Because if you chase Nautilus, he's still going to take a little while to kill. He's tanky. He has his shield up. You're going to be chasing, and the whole time you're chasing past Sivir and past Azir. Azir's going to get knocked up, so he's not an immediate threat. But you're chasing past these two people, so you're either giving them they're in range to attack the turrets, or you're giving them free seconds to attack this turret, and it's going to go down if they have those free seconds. Or the whole time you're chasing Nautilus, who is not a real damage threat, and he's going to take a while to kill because of how tanky he is, they can freely attack you. So you immediately switch to attacking Azir right now, because he's the most vulnerable one. Jump back and attack Azir. You don't care if Nautilus gets away, really. He's not kind of a non-factor. Kill Azir, or since Azir is probably going down to Cho'Gath, there's a good chance of that, and the turret is aggroing him, you can choose to go on to Sivir instead, since she's a much more present threat. Because if she's allowed to either freely attack you or freely attack the turret, she's going to kill one or both. Okay. So you do manage to back off. Azir does go down, but you almost die and have to leave. And Sivir stays alive, so now they're going to get this turret because your team is not big enough to defend. Nice. Okay, I'm going to speed up a little bit. Okay, Gnar DCs, you don't know that though. This is good, you're shoving, you're making sure that they don't have free pressure. Okay. So right now, take this and then leave. Okay, so this is a minor mistake. It's not a gigantic problem, but it's a minor thing. So right now you're looking at the situation. Again, you're thinking, I'm the one on my team who is uniquely positioned to have the biggest impact, and even more so now that you've picked up a few kills. You're pretty big. So you have the ability to really do a lot of work here. If you stay in top lane, yeah, you're going to be pressuring this turret potentially, and yeah, you might be drawing some attention to yourself. But your team is not in a great place to 4v5 or even 4v4 right now. And so split pushing isn't really what you want to do, especially since it's going to take so long. By the time you actually get to this turret, which is, you know, again, that's the goal. You're pressuring an objective that they will want to defend. Whether you actually get the turret or not is immaterial if you can draw a lot of attention to you. So if you're going to be split pushing, then you need to have a clear and present threat on a turret. And that threat needs to draw enough attention to you that it frees your team up to have an advantage elsewhere, to be pressuring another objective or to win a fight because they have numbers or whatever it happens to be. So right now, that's not a great scenario because you'd have to pull at least 2 people up to you for your team to have a real advantage because of how ahead the rest of their team is. So you'd have to pull at least 2 people up to you, and that's probably not likely. They don't really need to send 2 people to stop you from taking the turret. Maokai can stop you from taking the turret. Gnar can stop you from taking the turret. They don't have to win a fight against you. They just have to be there because you can't take the turret freely while they're sitting there. So they just send 1 up, and then it's a 4v4, and your team will probably not win a 4v4. So, and the other thing is it's going to take so long that they have plenty of time to respond, and, you know, they don't have to make an immediate decision. They've got plenty of time to do their thing and respond. So instead of doing that, instead of continuing to pressure this next wave, to take this next wave, you're thinking, I'm already ahead. I don't need these minions for gold at all, really. I'm already way ahead. This turret is down, so there's no immediate objective for me to pressure. I've already set up a slow push. That's the important thing. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 minions, plus 6 minions. So 10 minions. You know, these are a little bit low health, so you can call it 9 minions versus 6. That's enough of a minion advantage for this to build up and pressure a nice slow push pressure wave all the way to this turret. So effectively, you have already, by pushing the wave that was here, you have already created a pseudo split push situation with a nice big minion wave that's going to be forming. These waves will hit right about here, and then this wave will catch up, and collectively your 8 or 7 or 8 or 9 minions, however many are left by the time this wave joins the fray, those will easily be able to dispatch this wave, and then you've got a nice, you've got some minions that are now built up and are going to pressure this wave. By the time that fight's over, you've probably actually even have another wave that's starting to catch up, and so you've created a slow push, which creates a 6th man in this top lane of a sorts, and so that frees you up to immediately go to another lane and pressure another objective. So this is not efficient. This is kind of a waste of your position in the game right now. You could be wandering down the mid to actually be pressuring an immediate objective, or to join your team. They just killed Azir. You guys have a numbers advantage and a nice slow push going on. So go push this turret, kill this thing, or get vision in their jungle. At least go get vision in their jungle, because by now you should have upgraded your warding totem. You should have upgraded it a long time ago. It's more important than finishing these items is. It really, really is. So, you pressure this wave, and even if you're not able to get this turret, or if your team gets it before you get there or whatever, you have been able to wander down through here, get a ward there, get a ward there, or a ward here and a ward here, whatever you decide to do. Because you know that big minion wave is going to attract somebody to the top lane, Gnar in this case. So he's already been distracted, he's already gone to top lane. So you've created a situation where you know where at least one person is going to be, and that creates a numbers advantage. Azir died, and Gnar is going to be in top. That's a 5v3 for your team. What can you do with a 5v3? You can establish vision control, you can pressure an objective, you can group and win up and get a pick, which is about, kind of what you're doing right now. Be looking to set the map up in your favor by using wave control and using your numbers advantage and map control decision making to get vision control, to group and pressure objectives better than they are doing. So you're looking on a large scale to outsmart the enemy team, not purely to just outplay them on a 1v1 level. Okay, so going into that is not necessarily a bad idea. You have a lot of tools to survive. You're built well for it. You have a lot of tools to survive and to sustain your way out of jumping into a situation like that. But you got to think about what's going to happen next. So you're looking at the situation. Your team is recalling. They are coming. Jinx is nearby. She is coming. So you're teleporting into here to discourage them from just taking the turret. Sure, that's good. But what's going to happen here now? If you go into Azir, they have a crap load of CC to throw on you. They've got Maokai CC and Maokai ult, which is going to reduce the amount of damage you can do by a lot. They've got Nautilus CC. He has a ton of CC between his root and his slow and his ult. They can lock you up for a long period of time. You are realistically not able to kill Azir. So jumping in and of itself is not bad because you have a lot of tools to survive and escape that, and you can do a lot of damage. So that's good. But if you go in right now, you're not going to get anything. You do some damage on Azir, but they're going to lock you up and get you so low that you have to leave before you can actually get a kill. If you wait for just like 5 seconds, your team is there with you. You're going to have Udyr and Jinx is on her way, and Cho'Gath will be there in just a second. If you wait for 5 or 10 seconds, they're not going to leave because they have pressuring on their minds. They've got an Azir turret, so they're not going anywhere really. But you can save all of your health and all of your ability to jump in and do that, all of your killing power and CC and stuff, for a moment when your team will be able to follow up and take advantage. And then, yeah, you probably pick up a kill on Azir, and they can focus down Maokai, because while they blow all their stuff on you, your team is right there packing you up and pounding them with all of their stuff. Sivir can't do anything because she's out of mana, or she's out of health. So by jumping in early, again, it's not like it's not an error of judgment in that I'll die if I go in. I misjudged my strength. It's an error of timing because you went in before your team was ready to follow you, and so you went in and spent all of your power and didn't get anything for it. Azir did end up going down. But that's a situation where you could kill Azir. You could probably have picked up at least Nautilus too. And maybe Maokai as well if your team was there to follow you up. And then you've got a big numbers advantage and this turret is free at that point. Okay, so now your team needs to be thinking, we have a numbers advantage. What can we do with it? Dragon is up, so that's certainly something you should do with it. Your turrets are not in immediate danger. So you don't need to be just booking it to these turrets to save them, probably. So this is a good decision. Again, ideally, if you had made maybe a little bit smarter decision here, you would have even more of numbers. You would know that Azir is dead and Maokai is dead, and Nautilus is dead, so 2 or 3 of them are dead. So then Dragon is completely free. Okay, so good. So you're able to pick up Maokai here. I think. You should be. Yeah, good. And now you take Dragon. Good. And then when you take Dragon, immediately you go set the map up. Because you could go and tank this, I guess, but they have enough people now that tanking it's going to be hard. So you go set the map up. You make sure that these lanes are going to start pushing in your favor. Because now you kind of pulled your back. You're still down in gold overall, but you pulled yourself back into a position where you can start fighting them, especially because of how strong you are individually. So you want to make sure that this is slow pushing. And it is. It's already slow pushing, so you don't really need to go here anymore. Jinx is setting this up, so you can already be calling for a group mid. Because you guys can group as 5 mid now. This will be slow pushing. It will be a gigantic minion wave by the time it gets here, and someone will have to respond to it. So again, it's not really like bad to go up here or wrong. It's just very inefficient, since it's already going to be doing that. And actually by clearing those waves, you've created a situation where the slow push is going to be significantly less strong by the time it gets here. Because it won't have stacked up as much. You know, by the time now it's a situation where you'll have like 2 waves worth of minions that'll be here and hitting this turret. Whereas if you had left it alone, it probably would have been 3 or 4, or maybe even a little more waves worth of minions that were stacked up here, and somebody would have had to go up and deal with it. And then you've got a numbers advantage. If Jinx is doing it here, then you've got a big wave slow pushing here, and you've got a big wave slow pushing here. And you can pick top, or you can pick bot, or you can just push mid, and because they've had to send one person to deal with that, and one person to deal with that, and you've got a 5v3 in mid. Or, if they don't send anybody, then you stall. You just stall mid. You don't have to win a 5v5 here, because they're pushing. Your waves are pushing. it's you know, best case scenario for them, they lose a crap load of CS to a turret. Probably what happens if you set up the slow push right is these turrets get really low or even die because of the gigantic minion wave that's built up. And so if you just stall, then they end up losing a lot because you just set the map up better and you didn't dive a 5v5 you didn't need to take. But more likely they send at least one person to deal with one of the waves, and so that frees you up to pretty easily have a numbers advantage in mid and get this turret and maybe even the next one depending on how the fight goes. So again, right now you just don't want to be here. This is just not a good position for you to be in. You are a big part of your team's ability to deal with fights like this. You know, yeah, again, maybe your team shouldn't have been here. Maybe they should have been positioned better. You know, they might be making a mistake, sure. But if you are out here, you are such a gigantic portion of your team's ability to team fight and have pressure on the map. Yeah, you might pick up this turret, but your team can't survive a 4v4, much less a 4v5. And so they're going to lose. They won't even be able to hold a turret against that kind of pressure. So you're going to lose an inhibitor here, unless you turn around right now and come back. Even if your team is in the right place and they're together and they're doing, you know, they're being smart, you being up here gives this team the ability to win fights and take major objectives. Getting this turret is not worth losing that fight and losing this turret at all. Especially when you have the ability to set a slow push up here and join your team. You don't trade anything. You still have a good slip push, you still have pressure in this lane, you still potentially take this turret because of your big minion waves, and you can be here. It's not one or the other. You're split pushing with a 6th man minion wave, and you're able to join your team for a team fight. And if you're here, Azir is dead, then you can jump on Sivir, and she probably dies or has to run. Whereas, yeah, now, because you elected to stay in the top lane, yeah, you drew these two up. Or even if you drew only one of them up. I mean, that's not nothing. That's good. But you would have done that anyway. The big minion wave would have drawn at least one person up. So you would have accomplished that without even needing to be in the lane. And you could have been here this whole time winning this fight for your team. Okay, good. This should be a double kill. Good. Good, good. See, and so that's the kind of thing. You are so massive. You're gigantic. If you had been there, you know, when the fight was going down, you know, they aren't able to take the turret, thankfully. They don't pressure it right, and they don't quite do, you know, what they should have done. They should have been able to take at least the turret, based on what happened on the map there. So fortunately they didn't. So they didn't punish your team as hard as they could have. But if you had been there, you are so gigantic that you could have gotten those kills, you know, while Jinx was still alive, while your team still was still in position to take advantage of winning that fight. Because if your team is still alive and you get those kills, then this is pretty free. Now, because of the numbers, because Jinx is down and Jinx is a big part of your ability to push turrets, you're able to get wave pressure back and some map control back. But you're not able to reliably pressure this turret. You might be able to pick it up. But it's going to be risky and probably cost you a lot more than it would have otherwise. Okay, so again, now you're looking at the map. You're thinking, okay, this is pushing. We're going to have to deal with that eventually. It's not an immediate threat. You've got a wave. By the time it hits to this turret, there'll probably be another wave there. So you've got a few seconds before somebody has to go deal with this. Azir is heading down here, so you're going to see him in just a second because he's going to deal with this situation. In the same way that you are thinking you're going to have to deal with this situation eventually. So you have a numbers advantage here, but they have a turret, so it kind of evens itself out. So you've got a 5v5, essentially, unless they make a mistake and push out. So you're looking at the map and thinking about that. They have to deal with this, that's on their mind. We have to deal with this, this is on our mind. So it's kind of even, that cancels itself out. They have a turret and you don't, that's their advantage. So you're thinking, okay, what are we going to do? If they get the team fight they want, their team fight is going to be better. Unless they make mistakes, because between Maokai and Gnar and Sivir's ability to speed everybody up and her AoE attacks, they have a really strong team fight. So you're not wanting to get into a team fight, especially under a turret. You're wanting to draw them out and look for a pick. And that's why it's even more especially important to make sure you're setting the map up. So you split them out, you spread their numbers thin, and then you can take fights that are much more advantageous for you. But now that they're out from under the turret, now you got to look to pressure. Maybe you don't just dive in, but you look to be aggressive. You look to position aggressively. Because you see that Azir's not there, it's a 4v5 in the mid lane, you can at least be posturing and so when they make a mistake, you're in position to punish. Or you're at least making them think, okay, we can't push too hard here because Irelia is right there and she's gigantic. So you're putting yourself in position to follow up on this kind of thing. Yeah, nice. See, exactly. A big part of that is how much sustain and how big you are. You jumped in, they dumped everything on you, but you're massive and you survived it anyway, and you guys won that fight. It would have been even cleaner. You would have been able to get in there sooner and deal with them more if you had been positioned better. Because instead you had to start from here and dash in and then dash in. And by the time you got there, they had all their CC. They were ready for it. You know, that was after Maokai's knockup, and so they were down from his knockup, and they could respond. If you were positioned here, you take a step and you immediately go in and start doing damage while they're still in the air. And that fight comes out a lot cleaner. And then again, free turret. Okay, so now you have to deal with this. There's no turret to defend here or here, so you're not really giving up anything by leaving them alone. You got to deal with this before this goes down. Azir managed to make a lot of progress. Which again, if you can win a big fight here and pressure this turret and then take this turret, that's okay. That's worth it. You can let him do that. Or, you know, you win a fight here and then your team pressures this turret and you teleport bot. You know, or whatever. It just gives you the option, it gives you the flexibility to make big picture decisions like that. If you are setting the map up in your favor and you are correctly positioning for fights and being aware of your own power level and what you were able to do in a fight. Okay, I'm going to speed it up a little bit. So I'm guessing you guys lose a big fight here, because... Yeah. Yeah. So, what happened there was they were in position to get all of their ideal CC out, and your team was not in position. You guys let them initiate on you and start a fight on their terms, as opposed to kiting back and waiting for a fight on your terms. Because look at this big wave here. This is a turret pressuring wave. This is fully the ability to pressure this turret and probably take it, especially since this wave is right behind it. You guys didn't need to fight here. You guys can just kite back and disengage and not let them do what they want, and you fall back and you defend this turret and you just stall out right here, and the whole time this is pressuring. And eventually they have to either give up this turret so you get a turret for free, or they have to send somebody, and then you have numbers and then you can go aggressive. Just kill Maokai. Don't tunnel, just kill Maokai. Make that decision sooner to switch targets. You can kill either of them, so there's no point in wasting the time on trying to tunnel and chasing Nautilus down. Just switch targets to Maokai and kill him. He's the more valuable target anyway. Okay, so now you're thinking you need to be setting the map up. Get this wave rolling the other way. Gnar's pushing it, so you got to be here to counter this. Cho'Gath can push this wave. Get vision down in your jungle because you have upgraded your yellow trinket. I know you're not listening. I know you can't hear and correct, but man, oh man, this is just massive in games like this, especially when you are behind. Vision control is one of the only ways you can really perform a comeback. That's almost the only way, is to have good vision up, because you can't make informed decisions about whether you are punishing a mistake or falling into a trap if you do not have vision. Like, again, just to use an example. I'm going to slow this down. So, if you have vision here, in the river and in your blue side jungle, you've created a slow push here, I think. Yeah. And so this is just hypothetical. This is an example of how vision is powerful. So you guys are sitting right here because you don't want to push out until you know where the enemy team is, if you don't have vision of them, and you don't have vision of any of them right now. So you're thinking, okay, we don't want to just blindly push down because they're ahead and they have a really good team fight. So we've set the waves up, they're both slow pushing, and we have good vision up. So you have vision here. So you have vision on this side of the map, but not on this side of the map, for the most part. And you don't have vision in river. So you've set the slope bushes up, and now you're watching the map. You're waiting till you see someone go up to here. And if you don't see them until they actually get here, yeah, as soon as they show up here, then you can say, okay, we can punish. But if you see them here, or here, or even here, if you have vision here, if you see them heading that way, like, as you know, if Nautilus was going to Upton to do that, which he might be, now you have that information, you know, 10, 15 seconds sooner, and can jump and take advantage way sooner, rather than waiting until whoever it is gets all the way up here and shows themselves. You know, even if you don't elect to immediately jump on him, if you want him to get all the way up here before you go, so he has that much further to come back, you know, that's viable. But you have the time to set up. You have the time to ping him out and say, group, we can fight, we have numbers, get in position. And then by the time he's getting up to here, you guys are already in position to fight a 4v5 in mid lane. I'm not saying that's exactly what you should do in this situation. I'm just talking hypothetically. That's how vision is powerful. It's also powerful because if it's a 5v5 situation and you see them going for Baron, you can decide, you need to know if they're going for Baron. You need to know if 4 of them are in mid lane and 1 of them is down here. If you don't have vision and you see somebody pushing this wave, so if Azir was down here pushing this wave and you don't have vision of anybody else on the map, you don't know if this is a trap. You don't know if this is a bait if Azir is here. You don't know if you were to go collapse or try to 1v1 Azir if his team isn't all sitting in this bush waiting for you to do that. If you have vision on the map, again, hypothetically, you can see that his team is all up here. They're waiting for an opportunity to take Baron. And so you know that Azir is just baiting. He's trying to again, maybe that's a bait, maybe it's a mistake. Or you have vision right here. You see the 4 people heading to Baron to start it up, but Azir is behind, and you see him. You have vision, so you see him walking up, and you have vision, so you know where the rest of his team is. That's a mistake. He's out of position. You can kill him, and then 4v5 at Baron. If you don't have vision on the map, you know none of those things. You don't know where his team is. You don't know if he's baiting. You don't know if it's a mistake he's making. And also, you put yourself in a position where you can keep getting picked off. And that's, again, the #1 way to snowball a lead and to secure a victory is for them to have vision in your jungle and for them to be able to punish your mistakes and pick you guys off without you guys being able to respond. Okay, so this is the end of the game here. So they catch you guys out and win the game off of that. Okay, so obviously that's a really frustrating loss because you did well, you did a lot of good things. Your team wasn't even that far behind for the mid game. You guys clawed your way back a bit. You're behind now, way down. But for the mid game, you guys actually, were showing signs of life as a team. So it's frustrating to lose that. But and you're not going to win every game. Even if you do play perfectly, you will not win every game. What you will do is increase the number of games you win dramatically. You can't carry every game. There are some team comps that Irelia won't be able to carry, or carry against, easily anyway. There are some teams where they just won't make mistakes as much. They get lucky. There's some teams where you have a feeder, or like an actual feeder, not somebody who's not playing well, but an actual person who is trolling and intentionally feeding. Or somebody who, bought their account. And, it's not just that they're having an off game, they actually do not belong in silver, they belong in bronze. Or whatever the case, where the enemy team has somebody who's, doing a bronze to challenger challenge, and so they are, or unranked to challenger, and so they are actually a challenger level player, and they were able to carry harder than you are. There are some games that you will just not be able to win. And you can't do anything about that. So try not to sweat those games. This is a game that you probably could have won. And you could have won by better recognizing your own strengths, because you played pretty well in the lane phase, and you played, and you got an advantage. There were things you could have done a little bit better in lane phase, but overall you played it pretty well. Versus Gnar. And you played pretty well in the mid game too. You did a lot of good things. You were aware of how strong you are, but you're not recognizing all the different opportunities that you have to capitalize on that advantage, to really pressure that advantage. So and I talked about most of those as we went, but opportunities to just let the wave slow push and pull somebody up to create a 4v5. You're recognizing that they have a crazy good team fight with all their AoE and CC and team-wide speed up and stuff. They have a very good team fight. Your guys' team fight is not as good, but you're ahead and you have enough damage and CC to get really good picks and to win a 4v5, certainly. And they don't have a lot of disengage. They have some, but not a lot. So if you do jump on them, they don't have a lot of tools to get away from you, whereas you actually have a lot of good engage. So that's a situation where you want to be trying to create 4v5s or 3v5s or whatever as often as possible, to create team fights and picks and advantages as often as possible. So you are looking for opportunities to get slow pushes going, to get vision down so you have knowledge of what's going on. You're looking for opportunities to put yourself in the team fights because you know that you are way ahead and without you, your team doesn't have a great chance of winning. Not because they suck, necessarily, but because they're behind, and because this team is a really good team fighting team. If you're not there, they don't have a good chance of winning. You need to be there. And not only do you want to be there, but do you want to be creating that, setting up the map, because by using your superior knowledge of the game and your superior ability to set the map up, setting the map up with vision and with lane pressure, so that you are having a presence map-wide, even though you are in one place. You are having a presence in the team fight, while at the same time you have created a presence in the top lane, or in the bot lane, or both, or whatever the situation is that you're able to do. So there was several times where you are aware of how strong you are, but you're not putting yourself in all the positions that you really need to be to use that strength appropriately, to use that strength when your team is there ready to follow up, as in that one situation where you dove in a little early, or where you're choosing to pressure top lane when you really needed to be mid and pressuring this objective, because this thing never went down. This should have gone down a long time ago. You chose to stay top until they came to deal with you, which in some games and in some situations that's the right call. In this game, in this situation, it's not the right call. You want to, I know I'm repeating myself, but set up a situation where you create pressure and they have to deal with it, but you don't have to be there. You can be in a team fight where you have the most impact on the game. So, things to keep in mind. Upgrade that yellow trinket. For crying out loud, dude, get the vision down. Vision is power. Vision is knowledge. Knowledge is power. And power wins games. If you do not have vision on the map, you are going to lose the game. You had a support with the Sightstone, and that is good. But the only person who upgraded his trinket was Cho'Gath, and nobody had a red trinket. This team, the enemy team, pretty consistently had vision advantage on you. Not even because they were warding so well, but just because you guys weren't warding hardly at all. The only person who was warding consistently was probably Malphite a little bit and Cho'Gath. So, you are giving up a massive advantage there by not having a yellow trinket and by being aware of how strong vision is. You can be encouraging and asking your teammates, ask the jungler and the support to go red trinket, and have Jinx go a blue trinket, maybe, if you guys want a blue trinket. But other than that, your top laner usually should have upgraded yellow trinket. Your mid laner should have upgraded yellow trinket. Usually you want at least one red trinket, sometimes two. A blue trinket can be nice, and the rest of you should have yellow trinkets, upgraded yellow trinkets, and one Sightstone. And if you have all that put together, you will have a gigantic vision advantage, which will win you the game by itself a lot of the time. So upgrade that yellow trinket, get the vision down, be your own vision master, set goals for yourself for how many wards you're going to put down in a game. Have a pink ward down at all times as often as possible. Look to maximize your position on the map. Don't just be pressuring your lane. Don't just be looking for ones-on-ones. Look to win big clutch team fights where you can take big advantages off. Don't pressure a lane where you might get one turret, but your team can't win a fight, and so they fall back and lose a couple of people, and then that's all you can get is best case scenario you get one turret. Create a situation where you have created an advantageous team fight, a 5v4 or a 5v3, and if you win that, then you can take two turrets, mid lane turrets, which are more valuable because of the map pressure they give you. So anyway, it's big picture stuff. It's thinking about where you need to be, where you are the most important, or where the most important place for you to be, and you do that by setting up the map, recognizing your power level and where you can use it the most effectively, and by vision. So anyway, thanks for giving me a chance to look at this game. I hope that those thoughts were helpful. Mechanically, you're pretty strong. Big picture stuff. that's where I think you have the most room to grow. If you can start doing those things, if you can start looking for those opportunities and recognizing those opportunities more consistently, then you'll have gold in no time. Pretty much, that you're kind of right on the ledge of jumping over into gold here. So anyway, thanks for the opportunity, and I hope this helps.